and you're not getting an unboxing video because I already unboxed it, but we'll go through what came in the box. First and foremost, you'll notice it says code 3XL. Not a promising start, right? Inside the box was the bar, but also this informational sheet that definitely talks about the XL 5000 light bars. Now, 9,000 light bars. Now, let's be realistic here. There are a lot of similarities between the XL and the SD, so it could just be that it was a generic situation. Regardless, wasn't too impressed and wasn't too worried. Like I said, wasn't too impressed or worried. Here's what came out of the box. And for those of you who are Code 3 purists, there's your tag. And if anybody is super observant, you'll notice this has an unusual configuration for the brush, which is the device that provides electricity to the rotating mechanism. It also has some has an atypical motor. There's a tensioner on it. I'm not exactly sure why. It doesn't look like my other SD or XL motors, and this is the new lamp style holder, so this would have been a later SD bar, pre independent rotator, post new lamp holder. Nothing real special about the bar going around it from first glance other than that unusual brush configuration. And if you can't read it, the tag does say A1012-2. So not sure. I'm not a code 3 decoder. Looks like 11/18 of 86 was the build date on the motor. So those of you that caught it, I'll show you what the brush configuration does here in a second. Okay, the super observant in the house that noticed the brush being only on one side means this is a permanent select alert. That means that you don't get lighting of the rotator lamps 360 degrees. In fact, the way they've phased it is even a little strange, because you don't get lighting of the rotator lamps all the way onto the mirror. It actually shuts off prior to the mirror and comes on just before it gets to it, but not enough time for the bulbs to warm up. The longer you leave it on, the more it does hit off the mirror. However, an unusual sort of situation. The flash pattern they have set up here is almost like a rolling pattern. I'll probably change it to a 90-degree offset pattern or 180-degree offset, depending on how you look at that. So one is facing forward, one is facing side. I guess technically that would be 45 degrees on a clock if you looked at one bulb. So I'm going to pop the dome off of it, and we can do some better investigation, and I'll do that rephasing of the rotators. Okay, got the dome off of her. Maybe give you a little bit better look at that nameplate and the motor. And we'll get a zoomed in look at how the brush system works. Not sure if it's evident here, but there should be brushes on both sides. The brushes only contact the front, and there's a disc on the bottom that they contact, and that disc is split in half moon, one for each bulb. So essentially you're lighting one bulb at a time as it rotates, and it makes contact with this brush. This is a very late style brush, very near the end of the belted style. XL and SD bars. There's also no way to put a stinger in the middle. And believe you me rather, I tried. The tensioner, which is right there for the belt, precludes putting a stinger in place of the mirror. It just does not fit. I'm not sure if there's a way to adjust that. There probably is, but I think I'm just going to leave this original for now. I'm going to pop it on here so you can see what it looks like. Kind of the plane of rotation and the planes of when the lights come on. I'm not sure if this was meant to go on the front of an apparatus that was not allowed to show white to the rear. That was just starting to be a thing around 1980s, end of 1980s. I'm not sure if that was the idea here, or if this was going to be filled with amber bulbs, and therefore you wouldn't be getting amber to the front. Again, I don't think the phasing is right, in the sense that you get a little bit of flash to the rear and not enough to the mirror. I think if you rotated those discs on the bottom of the rotators, you'd get a better flash pattern setup. But I said I was going to resynchronize the rotators, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, so I've resynced the rotators into the pattern that I want, which is more of a 1, 2, 1, 2. There's always one on. Just a personal preference. Code 3's literature talks about the preferred phasing if you have the angled bulb holders. It doesn't really talk about the preferred phasing of the standard, which is what's here. But see if this shows you a little bit better the select alert feature. Still, I think there's too much flashing to the rear. If this were something I were using for a actual no clear to the rear purpose, I would either black out the back dome, or I would probably move those copper contacts on the bottom of the rotators just a little bit, which is not easy. I've tried it in the past. But if you just train your eyes on one bulb, you can see it comes on about right before it gets to front, and it shuts off right after it gets to rear. So again, not exactly how I would choose to phase it, but I'm sure they wanted to have side warning as well. I'm not a huge Code 3 collector. Call me a liar looking at the pile of Code 3 bars all around. However, it's really not my thing as far as super unusual specimens. So if anybody is interested in this bar, shoot me a comment or a message, or find me on eLightbars. Maybe we could work something out. I think this is a pretty interesting, odd, rare example, and I certainly probably don't appreciate it like a true Code 3 guru would. Again, any questions, don't hesitate to hit me up. The tensioner is specifically a very weird feature that I've never seen before, and I just think this was probably at the very, very end of the belt-driven tenure of the Code 3 product, and therefore that might explain some of the quote weirdness. Either way, unusual light bar, and something that something I thought everyone would appreciate. If you have any suggestions as to what you'd like to see done with it, go ahead and hit me up as well. I'm not gonna mess with the copper contacts on the bottom. I've been down that road before, and I'm probably not gonna replace it with angled bulb holders. Probably gonna try to keep this as factory as I can. Other than that, give you another view with it off. And like I said, if you have any questions, comments, I'm always up to talk about these things.